All right, so fuck yes. Welcome to After the Hype. I'm your host, as always, Brian Dressel. With me, as always, is Jonathan Hardesty.
I'm back.
CHEWIE Darso.
Hello.
And Emily Blake.
Hi.
Special guest today is Chris Ortiz. Hi, Chris.
Hi everyone. How are you all doing today?
That's way too low energy, Chris. How dare you?
How are you all doing today? I decided to change up my personality a little bit on the podcast, and we're gonna go for a nice Bob Ross type
It's
of
gonna last
feeling
like
today.
a minute.
You're talking too fast to be Bob Ross.
Yeah. Bob Ross would be like, slow the fuck
We
down.
need these happy clouds.
I feel like
in
you guys
the
are. I feel
corner.
like you guys are trying to raise my temper up so that way you can get the regular
more like
Chris.
the sweaty balls guy.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, sweaty balls.
Good
Well,
times.
what a coincidence, because I don't have any of those
Did
right
you
now.
guys
but-
ever wonder
No.
how many lows would Rob Lowe?
Please go on with your
going.
philosophical. Please go on with
You
your
all started
philosophical
laughing.
Yeah,
conundrum.
where is this going?
How many lows would Rob Lowe rob if Rob Lowe could rob lows?
4.
It's the
I
only
don't
logical answer.
think he would rob any Rob Lowe's because he is, after all, Rob Lowe.
He's
one
not
of the
robbing
Lowe's.
Rob Lowe's. He's robbing Lowe's stores.
Yeah.
No one can rob Lowe at a Lowe's.
However-
All right, I get it.
Actually,
I'm back.
is he robbing grocery stores,
Thank you,
Lowe's,
Chewie.
or hardware stores, Lowe's?
Either.
Okay.
Both. I don't know.
Both.
And none.
Oh.
So let's do a quick
Schrodinger's
where have you
Rob
been
Lowe.
doing? It's a great intro.
Schrodelo.
I'm going to go first. I've been playing a video game.
First in what?
Where have you been doing?
First in the world.
I hate you all.
America's number one.
Brian,
America first.
Brian,
See, this is why we need to record on time, because if we fucking talk to each other for this long, then the energy gets up and then everything's terrible.
Oh no, it's so bad for a podcast.
It is.
Brian, I feel like you need a hug. Do you need a hug?
It's
right
too
now?
hot to hug.
Don't touch me.
I forgot the podcast.
Hashtag nights in LA when you're married.
Oh, yeah.
Stay on your side of the bed.
Why is there a blanket on the bed? It's 100 degrees. Anyhow, where
Can't
have
we
you been
just have
doing?
one sheet?
Oh
No.
my God. Where have you been doing? We'll get this shit on rails at some point.
Talk about your video game.
You have rails?
I've been...
Stop it.
That would explain a lot of this. So I've been playing Gravity Rush 2.
Ooh, nice.
I bought it for you.
You did back in March. It took me a while to get around to it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's fantastic. And if you've ever enjoyed like a Japanese video game in any way, shape, or form, like Kingdom Hearts or like any of that sort of just kind of like cartoony, adventure-y stuff, this game is phenomenal. The flying/falling mechanics are great, and I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to play it.
You said 2, right?
2. I don't have a PSP, and then I never felt like buying the $20 PSP game for my PS4.
Gotcha.
So I just watched a recap on...
I heard you pretty much get it, and the mechanics are so much better in 2 anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally worth it. But that's it for me. Moving on.
My where have I been doing was, since we've kind of gone through a lot of our shows that we watch on repeat, I decided to repeat Better Off Ted again. And fuck, I love this show.
I could have sworn you were going to say Baby Driver. That's why I went with Gravity Rush 2.
Oh. Well, I'm going to do an article on Baby Driver at some point here.
Fair enough.
But I just want to talk about Better Off Ted because I want more people to love this show that America failed because it got canceled after a season and a half. And then maybe somehow magically we could maybe somehow get something back.
No,
Probably
don't
not.
bring him back from the dead. It
I
never
know
goes
so
well.
many of the actors are on so many different things, but if you've never watched this show, it is a show about an evil corporation who has whimsical scientists working for them and then whimsical employees, and it's fantastic. Especially Portia de Rossi's character says so many things that sound exactly like what Donald Trump says now, but she's very aware that she's an evil person in the show. She just doesn't care because she wants to make money, which might be Donald Trump as well. I don't know. Maybe this is just a female Donald Trump. It's just an amazing show.
You
And
just said an oxymoron, a female Donald Trump.
I know.
A lot of self-hate.
Who does she grab and where does she grab them?
Everything she wants.
Herself.
She's just
She's
grabbing
amazing.
Constantly
Yeah.
grabbing herself.
She's just grabbing a lot of kitties and wondering what the
But-
hell's wrong.
And this show took place in like 2007 or something like that. It's old. I don't remember how old.
Old.
Well, 10 years.
Okay. Well,
I mean, that must have been
It's
when,
not like
like right after TV was invented or something.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean,
we've
it's
just
older.
gotten the color TV.
Yeah.
And it's just so interesting to watch it. Like, especially, like, I posted a quote on Instagram of Portia de Rossi going, Those are just facts. And you know what facts are? Opinions. And sometimes opinions can be wrong. And I'm just like, oh my God. This show was so kind of prophetic in a really strange way, but it was so funny back then.
Why did we not listen?
Now, Chewie, where could people watch this? What
Netflix.
sounds like a wondrous show. Netflix.
Right
everyone.
now, only the second season's on Netflix. I don't know why they took the first
That's
one down. It's
Probably
really
a,
strange.
probably a rights issue or something like that.
I don't know.
They gave the rights to the first season to somebody, and then they
Which is
forgot to
too
get the
bad
second
because
one.
the pilot is one of the best pilots ever made.
Lost.
I said one.
An Alias.
Alias.
One
Oh,
of. One of.
Sopranos.
You guys are annoying. All right, I'm
Dead
done.
like me.
Breaking Bad.
Everyone go watch this show and love it as much as me.
John from Cincinnati.
6 Feet Under.
Oh, what?
Deadwood.
Yeah, Deadwood. John from Cincinnati took Deadwood away from us.
You guys do know I was saying that one as a joke, right?
Fuck Chris.
That's a show? I mean, I know there's an Everybody Hates Chris, but if there's a Fuck Chris, is Fuck Chris the adult version?
Yes. It's
Oh
the
my God.
porn version of Everybody
That
Hates
would be great.
Coming to Netflix
If
soon.
only my life was like that. Like, did you notice how my face just lit up? Like, yeah? What's the show about? I want to know.
Fuck who? I'll watch that. Next.
I'll go. I watched Baby Driver last night.
Oh.
Yeah, and
There we
by last
are.
night I mean, what is today? Saturday, Friday night. I'm
that-
still figuring
that
out
was last
days.
night,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm still figuring out days because I just got back from a long trip,
That makes sense.
and we immediately went to see Baby Driver. And as an editor, I'm just in love with that movie. Everything about it, down to just every cut, every action, was on the music, on the beat. I'm just sitting there with glee throughout the whole
Do
movie.
they have the beat?
They do.
They got the beat.
Beat.
Beat, beat.
They got the beat.
beat.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this with a disclaimer because I'm dating someone who is awesome and works on Big Brother. So in order to understand conversations when he talks about his work, I've started watching Big Brother.
Oh no.
This season, I've never seen this show before. This season is fucking bonkers, you guys. Like,
Okay, this guy better be pretty good.
He's
so
great.
because he's getting you emotionally involved in a
yeah, I told him that last
genre
night. I
of
was
shows
like,
I don't like.
I was like, why did you do this to me? And he's just like, haha.
That genre of shows.
that
paid
is
for a lot
kind
of
of
these
what
microphones, by
reality
the way.
does to people.
Yeah. No, but it's like this season in particular, like he said that there's so much drama that they're working way longer hours than usual because it just never stops. And already there's just been crazy shit happening. So and now I'm even watching like the live feed during the day. But like it's so much drama just from watching people just interact and be assholes to each other. And I don't know, like, I mean, I don't normally watch reality, but I'm totally, that's how I'm.
There's
spending
kind of like
my-
this curve, this arc where it's like you watching it like this sucks, it sucks, and then all of a sudden it's like, but wait, this is actually kind of entertaining in some way.
I
Yeah.
like.
And like this is
Oh,
getting
it
bonkers.
totally
Like
is.
it's like the bonkers curve.
So you would click. Would you like to know more? You would click more.
Honestly, I view reality TV shows
I
like
love
that
that
kind of like
reference.
the Stockholm syndrome of TV, where
Sure.
you hate it while you first start watching it. You're like, why should I care about any of these
Yeah.
people? And then suddenly you start caring about them just because you spend too much time with them.
Yeah.
And then you're like invested in stuff. I'm like, you don't understand. It's all an illusion. It's Stockholm syndrome. Get out. Get out.
And then you look at yourself in the mirror one morning and you're just like, what have I become?
Why do
What
I
am
know
I?
all the names of all the wives?
Yeah, and like, that's the thing is like I started watching it just sort of be like, okay, well I want to build a familiarity with the show because he's at work so much that's like all he has to talk about a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because it's like he consumes his life. So I'm like, well, I'll watch it just so I'm familiar with the names that he's bringing up. And now I'm just like, last night I was like, oh my god, can you believe what Cody did? Oh my god, and he's like, I know, and it's fun.
I do not have that much love for the reality show I work on. I walk home. I'm like, fuck it. I hate it. I'm going
Yeah.
to bed.
Eh,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that because I don't want to watch Dr. Phil.
I meant Teen Mum.
Oh.
Which I can say now. I can.
Oh, you
actually,
can?
Yeah, because it's technically the first 2 episodes have aired by the time this episode comes out.
Don't you just love it when like some of it airs and I was like, well, we're gonna figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, where am
No,
I working?
It's, if you want to check out Teen Mom, it's 2 episodes a day for 3 weeks in July. 2 of them have already aired by the time this is coming out. But on Mondays, Teen Mom.
Teen
Watch
Mom.
Teen
it if
Mum.
you feel like it.
Mummity mum mum.
That's the
mum.
tagline on the billboard. It's like, watch it if you feel like it. Teen Mum.
So I guess it's my turn, guys.
Sure.
I'm gonna fuck this voice. I guess I'm gonna do 2 quick things if you don't mind. One is Big Sick, highly recommend it. Saw it at the ArcLight on Monday. Really loved it.
Is that like a full-on release yet? Because I saw like on like calendars it
They're
says it's
doing
coming
it-
out like
I
the
mean,
end of
it's,
July.
It's really strange. They're doing it as like a limited release, even though 10 years ago this would have gotten an extremely wide like release, I think, and stuff. I also think it's because Kumail Nanjiani is kind of a unknown
Yeah, if you don't watch Silicon Valley.
if you don't watch Silicon Valley, if you're not familiar with
He's
Meltdown or
so
anything
great,
like that
though.
stuff.
Oh,
But
he's
He's in
fantastic.
so
but
many
yeah.
but it's
things.
an amazing film. If anybody's listened to it, I cannot recommend it
Can
enough.
I ask a question really quick about it?
Yeah, go for it.
I know it's a Judd Apatow production. How improv-y does it get? Do they?
I would say it doesn't feel very improv-y at all.
Okay.
It almost feels like they stuck very close to the script. I could be wrong. I don't know too much.
Well, no.
behind
Even
the
if it
scenes
feels
research
like that,
about
it's
it.
better than some of his other ones where it gets a little off the rails.
Well, because like this one, I think is trying to go for a sense of verisimilitude that his other films are not going for, and everything
Okay.
else like that and stuff. But yeah, I recommend that one. And the second thing is that I rewatched Gravity Falls this week with a bunch of friends.
I've never watched that show.
Oh, it is excellent. I can't. That is another thing I can't recommend enough. 40 episodes. It has a beginning, middle, and end. Cartoon show, the best way I could describe it, but I'm not doing it justice. It's like it's Twin Peaks meets H.P. Lovecraft for kids, and they make it work. You have like a slew of comedic talent like on the show. Louis C.K., Dan Harmon, Justin Roiland, John Oliver, Jon Stewart. Just like all these guys do numerous cameo appearances on it.
But the lead female.
The female is played by Kristen Shaw,
Here we
and
are.
no, it gets better because they have another female character in it played by Linda
Ooh,
Carter.
two.
Hold on, not just two guys,
Not just
but
one gimmick, but two gimmicks in a show. Holy crap!
I like to note that when we said gimmicks, we're using quotations because we don't actually mean that.
Well, 'cause that was the conversation we had before we started
Yes.
rolling. It's about-
But no,
I just know
they have
that-
two strong female characters on the show with
they can lift things?
with complete arcs. Actually, one of them is the most badass character on the show, and she's played by Linda Card. She's voiced by Linda Cardellini.
Okay.
Well,
I
she's
just know about
Mabel.
Kristen Shaw because she talked about it when we saw her at a con once.
Did she say it
I
was
thought
like
you talked about a hot tub, but I could be wrong.
Either one. She was talking about Gravity Falls and how she was sorry she couldn't bring it back.
Well, it's a 2-season show, but the thing is that like the show like ends like on the perfect note. It's almost like you want more, but you don't want more when it finishes because they're like they completed the arcs of everybody and everything. Oh, and I forgot Nathan Fillion's also on it.
Everyone likes a little Nathan Fillion in there every now and then.
I'd take a big Nathan Fillion.
Who doesn't love the Fillion?
Do we have a choice?
He'll
Was
fill
that
you
everybody?
in.
Yeah,
I'm
that
gonna
was.
get over these Fillion puns before it gets too far. That was
Before we
everybody,
fill it
right?
up?
Yes?
Emily does not like the Fillion
What?
puns.
Oh, no, I got lost in thought.
About Nathan Fillion?
She knew there was a pun
Sure.
run coming and decided to start just tuning out.
She had
I
the,
think about Nathan Fillion and the Nathan Fillion
she had the
pun.
Simon and Garfunkel face on. You know when they do the close-ups
Yeah.
of something, one person is like, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." I come to you.
Record scratch. You might be wondering how I got here.
Snorted.
Okay, so that was everybody,
protects
right?
for that.
Right?
Yes,
I
I
asked
believe
that
that was
three
it.
times.
I believe
Okay,
that was
cool.
everybody.
All right, so today's battle, I never really came up with a good name for it. I kept imagining I would at some point throughout the week. Never
Well,
did.
by the
Yeah,
time
I
this
don't
comes
think
out, it's
there
going to
was a
have a
theme.
title. So.
The Battle of No Names.
Yeah, the Battle of No Names. I like that. So it was originally a Secret Santa battle. We could just call it Christmas in July. That would work.
Yeah, that works.
So for today's Christmas in July episode, see, I knew I'd do it in the week. We have. If you did not listen to our episode back in Christmas when we had Chris on that time, because it just works so well, we couldn't.
Please watch it.
Also,
It
might I
is
suggest
awesome.
that Battle of No Names would be great if we all picked movies starring the man with no name.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Wait, who's the guy with no name?
Just any movie about a guy with no name, like the Stray Dog films, like the Clint Eastwood movies or Kurosawa or any of the.
You could throw in Layer Cake if you wanted to.
There you go.
Or the Bruce Willis Last Man Standing.
There you go. There's a bunch of them. It's a whole genre. Stray Dog genre.
Interesting. I don't know about this.
Writers just couldn't figure out the name.
They did what I did, and they just got too far.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so if you did not listen to that episode, which I highly recommend, Chris and I and everybody had a great time. And then after a while, I'm like, I need to do another one of these, and that's when I contacted Chris. I'm like, hey, I'm doing another one. Do you want to be on it? And I just got all caps back, absolutely. So what this is basically we had our friend Ryan randomly assign us somebody around the table that we had to pick a movie for. They don't know who gave them that movie, that we needed to defend that movie, and then try to guess who gave it to us. Sound like a plan for everybody here? Everybody listening? Just say yes in your car. I can hear you.
Yes.
You just went straight up Night Vale right now.
Yeah,
just
right?
say yes in your car.
I'll hail the glory cloud.
Glow
Don't-
cloud.
Glow
Not glory
Don't
cloud.
look at the glow cloud.
Yeah.
Is Carlos coming, everyone?
What is happening right now?
So
Have you
someone
never
did-
listened to Night Vale?
Oh, you should listen to
No,
that.
I
You should listen to
Oh,
Night Vale.
keep telling me that. There's just too much stuff, guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I say about TV shows. So I feel
Yeah.
you.
But Welcome to Night Vale is pretty fucking
I've
fantastic.
heard.
He's got a very soothing voice.
He does.
He's also on Gravity Falls, I might add.
Oh,
Is
really?
he?
Yes. Like, yeah, you gotta watch it. It's
I'll
great.
check it out. Maybe.
Her name is Mabel.
Anyhow. All right, so who wants to go first? John will go first.
All right, cool.
Because I'm me.
Well, do we want to lay down what movies are on the table?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Actually,
Well-
let's just do your and then let's bounce around. Like, because I feel
Bounce
like that's
around?
what we did the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
time.
I like the bouncing around.
which
So that,
led- which
it's a
led
little
to-
bit of a surprise. That way people can be like, I heard the one I wanted, then turn the movie, and then turn
That
the
is
episode off.
true.
Which led to the
I'm
joy.
out of here.
Yeah.
Which led to the joy and revelation to our podcasters of finding out what poor Brian had to watch.
Yeah,
the
I had to go last.
time.
And then by that point, we knew that my wife had given me that fucking horrendous movie. See last time.
Well, speaking of something that to me didn't suck, I got assigned the movie Orlando, which I'd never heard of.
Orlando.
In the chat, I posted a GIF of I think Book of Mormon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a
All right.
shirt and tie. But
So, John, I'm starting your 5 minutes now to talk about why it's a great movie.
it's interesting, and that's for me a good place to start because I'd never heard of it. And when I saw that it was Tilda Swinton in it, I was like, oh, that's okay, cool. I'm gonna see this. I want to see this. And she's the greatest thing about this. You forget when you don't see a lot of her movies that she is an amazing actress, and just I don't know. It was such a, and this may sound like a negative, but it was such a weird and just weird movie that I really liked it because of that.
It was pitched to me as a poem on screen.
Yeah, I can go with that. And the thing that won me first to the movie was when she turns to the camera and starts talking to it. And I
She
think
breaks the fourth wall.
she breaks the fourth wall, and that's when I started realizing that there was kind of a rhythm to this movie. And if you've heard anything I've said on other movies on this podcast, I like things that play with format, rhythm, editing in a certain way. And this has its own kind of editing that I really liked. And it was very interesting to watch this with Baby Driver in the same kind of 24-hour span of time. Because both do
It's an odd double feature.
It is an odd double feature, but both do some really great things with editing. And this one, I just liked. I don't know. There was.
What is the movie about?
It's. I'm still figuring out. Basically, the Queen has this servant played by Tilda Swinton, Orlando, and she says you can have this estate and all these
and
riches.
he's a boy. I think
he's a
it's
boy.
very
Yes, he's a boy. So you can have all this if you never age. And so he doesn't through the whole movie. So the movie goes through many eras and he just keeps going on. And in the middle of the movie, kind of after he's had his fill of what masculinity in the time is, he just becomes a woman. And from then on, I think remains that way. When I got assigned this, I kind of wish I'd read the book because there were a lot of things that it's pulling from, I can tell, from the source material.
It's a Virginia Woolf book, right?
Yeah.
I'll do you one better.
Yeah.
This character is actually also a member of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen in the comic books at one point.
Really?
Yep.
interesting.
Are you for real?
I am dead serious.
Good old Alan Moore.
Because when I saw that you got that picked, I was like, why does that character? And I was reading about it. Why does that character sound so familiar? And then I researched on it, and because I didn't know it was written by Virginia Woolf.
Right.
But I knew I'm like that character.
You know that person.
Yeah. But yes.
Well, and it was interesting because it was a 90s movie, so there was a lot of just these 90s elements like music choice creeping into the movie, and it was all a very interesting package. But it was also kind of me going like, what is this? It kind of presented an interesting puzzle because, again, never heard of it, didn't really know anything about it, didn't know anything about the source material, so I'm kind of just piecing this in from my own experience. And it was, I found it to be very interesting. And the sets are gorgeous, the outfits. Those kind of time period outfits never really impressed me as much. I'm not as huge of a period piece person, but these are really well made and just lavish, and it's funny watching.
How do you not mention Billy Zane's hair?
Billy Zane has hair in it.
Oh, he has a
He's
mane.
long.
sexy
Luscious.
as
Hold on,
fuck
I
in this
am
movie.
looking this up right now.
It's a Billy Zane mane.
Hold
And
on,
that's the
I
thing
am
is
looking
he's
this up.
also on the poster too, and I was like, Billy Zane, is that Billy Zane? This guy's got hair. It can't be.
He used
And then,
to
of course-
have hair.
yeah.
How
Yeah.
old are you guys?
Good God, that thing is it's a beautiful.
Isn't it?
They should name it.
Did you guys,
Like,
did you guys never see The Phantom?
Of course, I saw the
yeah, but
Phantom.
that looked
Yeah.
like a wig.
We own it on
All right,
Laserdisc.
okay. All right. Whoa.
Oh, whoa.
Brian
Whoa.
was very annoyed the day I brought that
Wait,
home.
hold on. I'm gonna love saying this. I'm not the only one.
You own it on Laserdisc too?
God.
Yeah.
I have an entire Billy Zane collection on Laserdisc. I have Dead Calm. I have that. I have Demon Knights.
Oh, Dead Calm is so good.
Demon Knights.
Now, that's
I haven't seen that
is-
forever.
That is a great.
But-
that is a great movie.
So, John,
I don't remember it very well.
what did you feel about the narrative of this film? What messages did you get from it?
Aside from Billy Zane's hair,
That was a big
That's
message.
all I got.
Well, I liked kind of how it approached gender. Just in that transformation scene, like when I first saw it, I was like, well, wait, this just happened? And I was like, interesting. I liked how it just happened, and it was just, this is what it is. And the movie just kind of went with it. And I think that was kind of a cool thing about the time that the movie was made in. It seemed like, I feel like it would be harder to make that now. I don't know, it went with it. And she just addressed the camera and being like, I'm the same person. And I kind of liked that message throughout. And it was interesting to see that kind of play out over the years.
now to
Okay.
just
Well, that is your time to talk positively about it. Do you have a guess who gave it to you?
I think Emily gave it to me. Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
damn.
know.
Emily was like, "Fuck you, no."
No, it's just that I figured you'd guess that because I'm so rah feminism all the time, and this is like such a feminist movie.
Well, there's that, but also like we haven't done this type of episode before, so it was like I was trying to logically piece it together that way. But I guess the only other, CHEWIE.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
I figured it had to be Chewie.
Yeah.
because I got it narrowed down to like
wasn't me.
I got
I got
narrowed
it down
to, like,
to women. Only women would pick this movie.
Also, folks, we just want to let you know that if you think this version of Secret Santa is going to be different from the other one, i.e., we're going to do all classy movies, you are so
very true.
wrong.
But I also
Yeah, we
would
take
say,
a
like,
weird
before
left
we
turn
get,
soon. Yeah,
the
go ahead.
thing about Orlando that's so great is that you do see how privileged his life is when he's a man, and then suddenly when he's a woman, when she is a woman, that privilege all goes away. They take
Yeah.
away her land.
Oh my God,
They take away
the
her
scene when they
freedom.
look at her and be like, you can't own this anymore because you're a woman.
Yeah, and that is so significant, and
Yeah.
that's why it's a Virginia Woolf story, because that's
Well,
like,
and even the scene where he tries to say that he owns the Russian gal in the beginning, and then it's mirrored the exact way when he's a woman, and she's just like, "Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to reject your offer." Like, it was such an interesting twist, and
Yeah.
but what makes it hard to do it like within a couple days of watching it is like I'm still mulling this over, like I'm still thinking about it, replaying
You
it.
should maybe watch it again.
Yeah, well, there's so many things to watch.
I don't know, I
That
really
wasn't-
love Orlando. Are we supposed to be taking it down now, though?
No, you don't have to take it
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
It's okay.
I wanted to give you an artistic film
yeah.
that had very strong
Christian overtones.
not Christian, just female themes and just transgender, transsexual themes, because it's all very addressed in this film, very, like you said, very matter of fact, of
Which I
like
think
you
was
should
so-
be able
Yeah.
to switch, and this is just who you are now.
And if you don't understand what male privilege means, this movie
this shows it to you
There you
so
go.
well, and it's
Oh,
just like
yeah.
and it has so many different messages in it, specifically because she does talk to the audience the whole time, that it like I said, it does warrant more than one viewing. I saw this movie the first time in my race gender film studies class, and it's one of the favorite things I got out of that.
Well, and now I want to actually go read the book because I had a whole bunch of not internet where I was. I was like, I could have read it had I known like weeks in advance, because I'm fascinated by this and I want to kind of delve into it further.
Has anybody here actually read it?
No.
I have not read it.
Okay.
Although, I mean, like, the only thing I've read literary-wise for it is, like I said, I've read The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
That's close enough.
I've never read Virginia Woolf for anything.
Well, it's kind of
difference.
interesting because Alan Moore's interpretation is that like Orlando basically becomes the M of that group because she lives, he like because she like the character switches genders consistently from like generation to generation throughout like the storyline that they have in it, and he becomes basically essentially like the most experienced member of the league because not everybody's immortal and stuff. So she winds up being the person with the most experience. So it's kind of an interesting take on that character. It's almost, when you think about it, the fact that they're able to do that, like, it's kind of the perfect spy when you think about it.
Yeah, but
Because
it also
they're
kind
able
of
to
undercuts the whole point of the book.
Yeah.
Well, no, it does.
Choose when you're going to be a man
Yeah.
or a woman. Yeah.
It's still an interesting character to pull into a comic, but
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I feel like it's hard to do it justice when it's so, like, I'm still, like, mulling it over, like I said.
Yeah.
And one that's, like, I have to go back to a second look for it. And, you know, just...
It's not an easy movie to consume, especially when you're not expecting what it's going to be.
Right.
Brian watched it, and the first thing he yelled at me, "This is a weird movie."
it's a weird movie, honey.
It's definitely the like most artsy of everything.
Yeah.
we've got
Yeah.
going
And
on
we had
today.
just gotten back from
I saw someone point out it's a female director.
Yeah, no.
What's the name of the director?
Sydney or Sally? Sorry, I forgot her name.
Yates? No.
Nope.
Not Sally Yates.
And also, just real quick, John, just real
That
quick.
would be so awesome if Sally Yates also directed Orlando, just as a side.
Also, just real quick, where did you view this movie in case any of the listeners want to also view it?
I rented it on Amazon.
Sally Potter.
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 See, okay, that weird association. Harry Potter was directed by David Yates. Okay, weird word salad going on there. Name salad.
Would you recommend it?
Yes, I would actually, because
Yeah.
like maybe I was not watching it under the best conditions, but it was still very thought provoking, very interesting, and it was unapologetically strange, and kind of didn't care if you were on board right away. And
It doesn't care if you're on board at any point then.
yeah, and I kind of respect that more now than I have before. Of just the movie's gonna do what it's gonna do, and you're with it or you're not.
Yeah.
If you're with it, you're hip.
Yeah, and just specifically, like, I think it's a very good movie for a person being, like how I said, she talks to you directly. Like, you do feel like you're involved in this film the whole time you're watching it.
Yeah, and it's to what
But
Brian said.
We're out of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's to that poetry thing.
Yeah. I enjoyed watching it. It wasn't my favorite movie on the table today, but it was like you said, I will happily go back and give it a second watch because I did not watch it in the best circumstance.
Yeah.
I just come off a 12-hour day. I'm just like, I fucking hate everything.
I did like a 3-hour commute from like LAX to where I live now.
If
and
you're a
it's-
person who laments SJWs and PC culture taking over the world, maybe not for you.
maybe, yeah.
Or maybe you should watch it.
Maybe you should watch
And
it
you
and
should
stop
have
being an
a
asshole.
woman,
or
a man, and then a woman stare at you directly in
don't
the face multiple times.
why don't we
What
just
if we just like what's that thing? The technique from Clockwork Orange. What if we did
was
that
just
to
gonna
those
say that,
guys?
actually.
Like we just strap
Okay,
them down.
well,
We put like the eyes on them and
I
stuff.
feel like that's a step back,
Yeah,
but I like where your head's at.
And I just, the whole time, I just want to be on the side screaming, "Feel things!"
understand stuff?
John, you get to pick who goes next.
I think Emily, since I guessed wrong.
All right.
Oh,
all right,
do you have a
all right.
line real quick? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Do you have a line from the movie real quick?
Do you have a favorite quote? Because mine would just be the sound of Billy Zane's hair whipping in the wind.
Which it's the
It's
moment.
the sound of babies.
I didn't
cry.
write it down. But I didn't write it down, but it's the moment when Orlando sees herself in the mirror, and I was like, "I'm the same person. It's just a different sex," or something like that. I mangled the line, but
It's a good moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just the Tilda Swinton is so great. Like she was very haunting in this, and just that stare at you is ugh.
Yeah, we need to move.
Yeah.
Emily,
Okay.
your turn. What do you got?
I had the long kiss goodnight, which was pretty exciting for me, because it is what I love about this movie. It's such a '90s movie. It's so like it's the essence of '90s, but like better because it's at the time it's Shane Black who was at the height of his career. And this was, I don't know if it still is, but this was and held out for a long time, the highest paid spec sale ever. This was like a very, very expensive screenplay. And the movie didn't perform as expected, but one thing I really love about it is that you often see, well, it's also directed by Rennie Harlan, who directed Die Hard 2 and Cliffhanger. Come on. The music
That makes sense.
Yeah, the music is so 90s.
Yeah.
Just everything about this movie. The physics are ridiculous. You know, like the grenade takes about 5 minutes to blow up.
And then it's just a fireball.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
But
And-
Emily, it's not like they jump out and all of a sudden use a machine gun to
yeah,
make a
exactly.
pool of water.
Also that. But
And then swim out totally fine.
But yeah, they're totally fine, barely cut up. And at the end of the movie though, they're both bloody fucking messes, which I love. That's so 90s to have your lead just be a fucking disaster by the end of the movie. But one thing I think is cool is we see one of the tropes we see a lot is we see a man who's on the run. Sometimes it's because the woman he's with, and Eraser came out the same year. The woman is being chased by bad guys or whatever, and he's there to protect her. So here's the same kind of idea where it's a man and a woman on the run together, doing stuff and whatever. One, there's really no romantic. There's a slight romantic scene between them. It's nothing, and it's just because she has issues but there's no romance between them, but also she's the badass. He's the one who needs saving. And that was such a revolutionary thing for still is, really. And I just thought that was, and plus Gina Davis is just a fucking badass all the way around. She was an Olympic archer. She now runs an organization that pushes gender parity in film. And just everything about this movie I thought was super badass, watching her be so cool. Because at the same year, I looked it up, we also had Barbed Wire, which is maybe less progressive.
Maybe?
Super less progressive.
And then we also had Twister, though, so Helen Hunt was pretty cool. But this was the first time we really saw, since Ripley and Sarah Connor, that we really saw a woman allowed to kick ass. And she's a mom because, well, that's okay.
It's the 90s.
It was the 90s. But I mean, that's also part of the plot. It was important that she was a mom. And I love that her boyfriend was totally chill with the fact that she could murder him with her pinky. Even at the end of the movie, he's like, okay, cool. I'm down.
I thought they were married.
They were. I don't think so.
Because it wasn't his baby, right?
Right. It's not his baby.
I forgot.
No, it's
actually
another
watched the movie.
person's
It's
baby.
another person's
and
baby.
The evil guy's
The evil
daughter.
guy's
I
kid.
forgot that.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
I just watched this morning.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And just there's a giant explosion at the end, which again takes way too long. It's like a countdown of 6 minutes that takes 20 minutes.
Emily, there's not one giant explosion.
I mean, that's
at
the
end of
90s.
this.
Yeah.
There's several
but
thousand.
the big exploding truck, which I'm not entirely sure why it had explosives in it, but
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Who
90s.
cares?
It's the 90s.
Shane Black.
It's the 90s. Yeah, it's the 90s. It's Shane Black.
Everything
Obviously,
blew up.
it also opens at Christmas.
Of course it does.
You
It's
know,
a Christmas
and,
movie.
Yeah, it's just, I love this movie with every fiber of my being because I love explosions, I love badass chicks, I love Gina Davis, I love how she was just fuck having this kid, fuck this stupid PTA mom stuff, I'm gonna go be awesome. So the first act, she's all oh no, I'm a lady, I don't know what I'm doing. And the second act, she's fuck you, I'm a badass, I don't give a shit about this dumb kid. And then the third act, she's okay, I can be both.
Nice.
That is
This
what I
poor
was telling
child's
Ryan.
psychology bills are going to be through the roof.
Well, the kid at the end is just get up, mommy, stop being a stupid baby, which calls back to when her mom said to her when she fell on the ice. And I gotta admit, in both cases, they were right. Stop being a stupid baby. So
Yeah.
I feel like that was a good
I mean-
lesson.
But that kid would have died when the grenade
Oh.
launcher went off right by her head.
100%. 100%.
Was that
I mean-
before or after her mother got superhuman strength and was able to throw the child all the way across to the other neighbor's
That
house?
was the moment before. They used the hole
90s
from the
look,
grenade
guys,
launcher.
in the 90s, physics worked differently.
Well,
I look at this movie
Things
and
are lighter then.
I think hashtag parenting goals. I do, legitimately. I remember watching the scene, I even stopped cleaning this morning when it got to the scene of the daughter hurting her wrist on the ice because it's one of my favorite moments in the whole film.
Yeah.
I'm just stop crying and get up. I'm I can totally see myself doing that as a mom. I don't have
Or
time for this shit. We
this-
need to learn how to skate.
The scene where she climbs over the wall and there's that kid the neighbor kid is sitting there smoking a cigarette. And she's what have you learned about cigarettes? And she's got a fucking rifle in her hand. And she grabs she's dyed her hair blonde and she's got all this eye makeup on. So she looks super scary. And she grabs a cigarette, takes a drag from it, hands it back to him. And she just goes, what did she say? Don't sit here again or I'll blow your fucking head off. And then,
Oh no! And then they do that insert.
yeah, they do this long ass insert way up close on the kid's crotch as he pees his pants.
Aw.
Poor kid. All right, so that was your 5 minutes. Who do you think gave you the movie?
Chris.
Yeah. I will always revel in opportunity to talk about The Long Kiss Goodnight. I will
Such
never.
a fun
I will
movie.
never.
Yeah.
I
and
can't believe that you never saw it before.
I was
Yeah.
in shock
Never
when
got
you
around
said
it.
that to me. And
Yeah.
this the reason why I also like that movie so much is because I have a friend of mine who also she loves that picture to the point where I gave her a copy of it for her birthday, and for years we have been trying to figure out how to do a cosplay of her as Gina Davis
Yes.
and me as Samuel Jackson.
No.
For
There's no
obvious
way.
reasons.
There's no
I
way you
can't do
do
Samuel
it.
Jackson unless I get that gaudy outfit that he has on.
Yeah.
And that is the only way I think I might be able to do it. Just because, if you listen to us talk to each other, it's that relationship.
Is
We
it-
have that relationship.
Would it be okay if you did a cutout of his face? And
I
wore it
don't
on
know.
I don't know.
Because we have literally gone back because I love
we're
his
in dicey
character.
territory here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love his character in this picture. I love some of the shit that comes out of his mouth.
yeah,
It's
it's great.
hysterical, especially
And-
when he says about New Jersey.
Speaking of which, what's so great is I didn't even mention like the casting. Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson, Gina Davis, David Morse, Brian Cox. I mean, just some of my favorite people are in this.
Also, the guy who plays the villain in this, who I believe his name is Craig. I could be wrong. I believe his name is Craig Bierko in this. He's fucking genius.
He
in
is
some of the
on.
scenes.
He is on Unreal, and the first season he was on Unreal, he was fat, and I was like, "Why have I seen that guy before?" And then second season he got skinny, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's that guy."
Also, fun fact: you do know that Samuel L. Jackson was originally supposed to die in the picture.
Oh.
During that scene where he does where she's when she's sniping all the people and everything, in the compound, he was originally supposed to go in that scene.
He did get
and
shot.
Yeah, and that was the idea because it's interesting because even though I consider this to be one of Shane Black's best movies, apparently he hates the way he turned out or something along those lines. Which is really interesting because I'm like,
Well, he only wrote this one, right?
he only wrote this one.
Yeah, so I mean that really could be one of the if somebody had taken over some control at some point, that could be why he didn't like it. Would be my only guess.
Yeah.
Because it really the beginning feels very Shane Black, and then a lot of the dialogue does. But overall, I don't think it feels like as Shane Blacky as some of his other movies.
Well, I think it actually
direction.
helps the fact. Now, Emily, tell me if you feel the same way. Also, that the fact that it's Shane Black's script in the most 90s possible
sure.
way. And I think that only enhances the way this picture turned out. Because I imagine his original script was a little bit more low-key at parts, especially with the third act.
There were some times when she was saying lines that sounded really clever but didn't feel as clever, and I was trying to imagine on the page they probably were a little different than how they were directed. You know, that I was thinking that would have been really cool on the page, and instead it's kind of a throwaway line right here.
yeah, and Shane Black has a certain cadence to his writing that not everybody can
Yeah,
nail.
yeah.
There's reasons that like Mel Gibson or Robert Downey Jr. can just nail that sense of humor, but it's just not for everyone. I think Gina Davis did a good job
Yeah.
with it, but there were some parts that, like you said, they kind of rang a little.
Yeah,
false.
and she was just coming off Cutthroat Island too, so this was I wish this had done better because I mean obviously her career's
It
okay.
probably would have done better if
Yeah.
it wasn't for Cutthroat Island.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I like Cutthroat.
I've never actually seen I've never seen Cutthroat Island, but I remember the hype for that movie and then the total disappointing not hype after it came out and everyone hated it.
I never saw it.
My parents took me to see that in the theaters on Christmas Day. Yes, we were those three.
Nice.
You just had to have a theater to yourself.
But speaking of cadence that you brought up, honey, when we were taking our niece Cadence to go ice skating that one time in Chicago, there was a big part of me that wanted to get all Gina Davis on her, but I was like, all right, Melissa and Mike won't like it if I do that.
And she was 2.
But she couldn't even put her feet on the ice.
She was 2.
Quit being a baby, toddler.
Somebody's just gonna pass by. I would love it just so if you did that, if somebody just passes by, okay, we know what you're
Cadence
doing.
says,
We've all seen the movie and everything, but she's 2.
You can
I
go
thought
yell at
she
that
was
5-year-old
3.
over there.
But there's a
Oh,
5-year-old
come
over
on.
there that's being a little bitch.
I just really wanted to get her to try to at least attempt to figure skate. But
She's
the
done it now.
she has?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get to see that.
Also,
what we
can
get for living in
Can we also just
California.
talk about the love that we have with the scene where Gina Davis is able to skate as fast as a fucking car in this picture?
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I mean, it's tough to argue against. It did not do that well critically either, though. I was kind of surprised. Like when I looked at the reviews, I thought they'd be higher.
I mean,
I don't know why.
I think it might have been a fatigue that you were seeing with critics at that point in time, just seeing action movie after action movie.
Yeah.
When did
And
this
then
come
just
out
not
exactly?
96.
Okay, yeah.
there was a little bit of action movie fatigue, and it did star a woman.
Eraser, The Rock, because I looked it up again at Barbed Wire. Yeah.
Good old barbed wire.
Pamela Anderson
Twister.
tried.
I mean, this was a year of a lot of big action movies that were just like huge budgets and crazy physics denying action sequences. So-
Another explosion. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like most of those movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I always feel bad for Barbed Wire because Pamela Anderson really was trying to make something good. She had faith in a comic book, which most people didn't back then, and she got E. coli from her tattoo.
Oh.
Not
Oh.
E. coli, hepatitis.
Oh, no.
Same
Don't
difference.
get a barbed wire tattoo in Mexico while you're filming a movie.
Don't. Just don't.
That sounds
Yeah,
like
not a good
idea.
idea. You get to pick who goes next.
Okay. I want to hear you talk about you had the old Kung Fu Hustle, right?
I did, and I do. So I had a Kung Fu Hustle. I'm not sure who gave it to me. I'm going to throw a name out at one point here. But it was when I was in college, there's 2 trailers that came out that made me go, those movies I need to see now, and they're going to be my favorite movies of all time. And it was Kung Fu Hustle and Shaun of the Dead. They both came out right around the same time, and like I saw Kung Fu Hustle, I want to say 4 or 5 times in theaters, and then I bought it. I don't know how many times I've watched it since. So when I saw I got to sign that one, I'm like, what? That's just an utter joy. If you have not seen the movie, I cannot recommend it highly enough. It is one of the most well stylized movies I've ever seen. Like it creates this world that I want to live in. Like it's just so crazy and fun and awesome. When I first saw it, really kind of, that's why I kind of bring up Shaun of the Dead. It kind of reminds me of like an Edgar Wright style like world of just like, it's so unique to itself. The movie itself is about a guy who he wants to be in a gang because when he was a kid, he decided he was gonna be a good guy, and then got the shit kicked out of him, and then peed on in front of a girl. I think that would damage anyone's self-esteem a little bit.
That's pretty horrific.
Yeah, it's a little rough. So he decides the way to be successful in life is to be a bad guy. So he tries to join the biggest gang in the world. And then he realizes that's the wrong thing to do. And then around that time, the biggest gang in the world has started fighting this slum because they have wronged them. Really skipping over a lot of plot points. While fighting the slum, they realize there's 2 kung fu masters that live there. And they hire the greatest killer in the world to take out these masters. And then while he is trying to kill the 2 masters, the main character decides to take one hit at him just to stop us. And the beast is what they call him, beats him into an absolute pulp, like punches his head into the ground like 100 times. And
you're not joking when you said it's literal pulp on screen.
Oh yeah, it's just complete insane. And then my favorite part of the entire sequence is like, so are you done? And then he just grabs this like little piece of wood and just lightly thwaps him in the face. Like, it's just so good. So after that, they show like very on the nose a butterfly coming out of cocoon, and then he wakes up.
And
from
someone
his coma.
even says magic,
Then
healing.
he wakes up, and now he is the kung fu master who can only match the beast, and they have a big cartoony fight, and it's great. But that's the whole movie. It's like the ad for it said it was Kill Bill meets Looney Tunes, and I think that's kind of close. Didn't really feel as Kill Bill to me as it does Looney Tunes.
I was about to say that movie is a straight up Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah,
in the best way possible.
Yeah, like, and it's like when people go for like really, they run really fast, like the full like circle leg motion, like it just, I don't know how else to say it. Like I still have 2 minutes to talk, and I'm speechless with how much I love this movie. Like I get on top of my words when I start talking about it, because it's just complete joy from beginning to end. Like I've never watched this movie without just like smiling the whole time.
How would you describe the choreography?
Which choreography? There's a dance sequence in the beginning, which is awesome.
Yeah.
The fight choreography?
Both.
I mean, the fight choreography, the thing is, I don't know shit about fight choreography. I've never been a stunt person ever in my life, so I know if I like it and it looks cool, I assume it's good. So in the beginning of the film, when they have to fight the 3 like sleeping masters, the guys who are trying to like just live their lives and not be kung fu guys, that entire fight sequence is just incredible. Like it's just a blast. It's really fun seeing these 3 different, like the one guy fights with just fists, the one guy fights with these big metal rings on his arms to like add weight, and they call him Iron Fist. And then the other guy fights with a big fucking pole and many other poles. And it's really...
But like it also like deals with their careers too, doesn't it? Like the poles are all like because he needs bread or something.
Yeah, he figures out a way to hide. They figure out a way to hide their powers in their businesses. Like the guy with the rings is like a
tailor or something.
A tailor, so he hangs everything off those rings. Like
this was such a great take on wuxia for me, because I'm a huge fan of wuxia films. If you don't know what wuxia is, go look it up.
I always say it wrong, but yes.
Yeah. But it's all the magical fighting where the flying and all of that. And it was interesting to watch that. Like you said, those guys at the beginning who weren't really kung fu masters, and then the second time we see the fight, it ratchets it up when you get the musical instruments in.
It's so awesome.
And it's so awesome. And I love the fact that you thought that landlord guy was just a dopey idiot, and then he comes out and you're like, oh shit, that dude can fight.
Oh yeah.
And the landlord
lady was a badass too. I wish it had more than just her and the deaf girl, but then by the time we get to the final fight, it's just like he's flying in space and like making huge dents in the pavement. It's just like it kept ratcheting up. Each fight was bigger than the last one and like more impressive.
Yeah, it does it in a way that like, and it feels natural. Like it feels like you're watching a sequence going, this is as crazy as it can get, and they do a good job of the next scene going even crazy.
My only complaint about that, because now we've reached the other part, is that I feel like our main character didn't earn it. I was a little bit irritated that he just went to sleep and magic happened and he woke up a master. And I was like, really? I mean...
Well, he's kind of a cipher in the picture. I mean, like, he's not as well developed as the other supporting characters in it. I mean, the three Kung Fu masters you were talking about, as well as the slum lords and everything, like, they are, like, full three-dimensional characters in this, whereas Stephen Chow's character is kind of like, almost just there. For the sake of him having like that brilliant third act, but it's still just like,
and he's not very likable for most of the
No, he's not even at the end of the movie.
Person.
He's terrible the whole way through. Oh, my guess was Emily gave this to me.
Nah.
No? Then it was
I'd
John.
actually never seen it. I thought I had, but
Really?
I only saw like one of the fight scenes. And so I was like overjoyed. I was like, oh my God, why haven't I seen this movie before? This is everything I love.
So, John, you gave this to me?
Yes.
And you had nothing to say during all that?
Well, I was just waiting. I was letting you guys. I was letting you guys exude the excitement because it's everything that I feel about that movie.
Yeah.
My favorite scene in this movie is that chase between the landlady
Oh, it's
and
so
Stephen
good.
Chow, and how it starts with the knife gag.
oh, just them taking out those damn knives.
The knife gag is hilarious.
The knife gag, for me, it was funny, but when he takes the knife out, he goes, no! And then he puts it back in.
Yeah.
Fucking just perfect.
And then there's the snakes. It was like one thing after the next, and then it goes right straight Looney Tunes. And I'd up until that point, I had never seen something live action be so cartoonish and just be such a delight to watch. And I'd also been watching a lot of anime at the time too, so there was a lot of this there was a lot of this like progression thing between the masters and the different like one-upsmanship that in anime happens all the time, almost to an obnoxious extent. So it's like, oh, these are one level of masters. Oh, these are the next ones that are too big for them. Oh, but then the landlords are the masters now, and then like it just kept going. I was like, this is so wonderful to watch.
I love when the landlord grabs the big bell or whatever that she uses as a megaphone, and then they are standing there, and the other guy looks over, and you're like, oh shit.
Is it weird that while we're talking about this, I'm fantasizing about what Infinity Wars is actually going to be like? Because it would be
That's
great.
a weird leap, but yeah.
I don't know. I'm just
Replace-
imagining because there's so many superheroes in Infinity Wars. If like are the
This
main
is
guys
all
from
flying
Civil,
up and down.
the Avengers just keep going to all these really places, and then there's just all these people with more superpowers that are even stronger than theirs.
Well, and there's one thing that what was unexpected about this movie, despite all this other delightful, unexpected stuff, was Stephen Chow has a great knowledge of cinema. He references The Shining. His movie is in communication with American cinema.
He's one of the biggest filmmakers in China.
Yeah.
He's the biggest comedic filmmaker in China, I believe.
No, I think he might be the biggest.
Yeah.
Not just comedic wise. I know when Kung Fu
Did he
Hustle
do Mermaid?
came out. Yes, I think he did.
okay.
I think he did that film. I'm not too sure. Like, so.
don't
Yeah, I was looking it up now, but like he did Shaolin Soccer, right?
Yeah.
Oh
He did
yeah.
And
Shaolin
that
Soccer.
was right before this one.
That was the one he did right before this one, and then I think after that,
because
he
I thought
also
that
did-
was the
And he did the thing with the sun and the little alien.
Well, he did that one, and then he also
CJ7.
did, which I heard was okay, but then he also did Journey to the West, which I heard is like really good.
But the thing that I liked in this movie was the nod to Shaolin Soccer, because there's the three little boys playing soccer, and they kick the ball to the main character of the movie, and he stomps in the ball and goes, "No more soccer."
Yeah.
I'm done with this.
I thought that was awesome.
And then
But no, what to what Emily was saying though, I actually kind of agree, and I think it's that guy. As both Emily and Chris were saying it. He really isn't that much of a character. He's not likable, and he doesn't really have any like agency in the movie. But I feel like that's it was kind of a Western idea of give the main character absolutely nothing so people can feel that they are him. And I think they just went too far with it.
Oh, he's like Belle.
Sure, like
Bella,
Belle.
or whatever her name
Yeah,
is.
Kung Fu Bell.
Yeah, my biggest example for that, which was done perfectly here, so don't jump down my throat, was Luke Skywalker. I don't think he has a lot of character, and I think that's why everybody thinks he has the most character. Only in A New Hope. He gets more throughout.
Kind of like Jared Kushner.
Yeah. But yeah, so all in all, like I think this movie's fantastic. I think it's everything that John was saying. I actually think it pairs really well with Edgar Wright's styling, because I remember watching like both this and Shaun of the Dead back to back.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned watching that side by side with that, because that was about the same time. I saw those roughly around the same time. I didn't have, we didn't out in like North Dakota. I didn't have too many chances to get to the theater. North Dakota. Didn't have too many chances to get to the theater, so we saw these movies any way we could. Air quotes on everything I just said. And it was like those two movies at about the same time.
If we watched this and Scott Pilgrim, I think they'd be very good pairs.
And I love
That
both
is
of those
a
movies.
good double feature.
Yeah.
But I think this with almost any of Edgar Wright's movies, they fit really well together. Like it's a very similar sense of humor where it's not the same though. They just complement each other. Yeah. But yeah, all in all, I love this movie, and it's I was very very excited to watch it again because I haven't seen it now in so many
It was nice
years.
that we didn't have to spend money on that one.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird because you have an idea of this movie from when you first saw it, and then you watch it years later. It's like, I hope it holds up. I hope it holds up. And then you're like, wow, you're kind of blown away again.
Yeah, it definitely holds up.
Yeah.
But I mean, it holds up for me on a rewatch. I don't know how well it would sit with like a 16-year-old these days.
Yeah.
Because like the comedy pacing, I mean, just nationality. It's a different sense of humor. Like either you're into the style or you're not. If you're not, I don't think this one's really going to win people over.
It's hard to get people to watch action films that subtitles in general.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of jokes of it that just go straight over Americans' heads. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of just in humor that's just not for us, and that's fine.
Well,
like I can still enjoy the movie.
And
We
there
just
was
need to watch more Asian cinema so we can get the jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
pretty much.
so that's it for me. Chris is going next.
Yeah. So my movie of choice this week was Escape from the Planet of the Apes. The illustrious third film in the original 5-film saga of the Planet of the Apes originally started with Charlton Heston landing in the future in the first one. In the second one, Charlton Heston, the head of the NRA, deciding fuck it and blowing up the entire planet. Which, by the way, is so ironic. And the third one opens up with 3 apes named Milo, Cornelius, and Zira being able to salvage Charlton Heston's original spaceship and using it to launch themselves into space as Charlton Heston is blowing up a nuclear warhead and beneath, and using that to hurl themselves back in time to Charlton Heston's original time period, allowing for many a fine social commentary as well as a cut in budget.
So I watched the wrong movie.
But
So I have a question.
Yes.
So they use the nuclear warhead to launch themselves back in time?
yes, if so you saw Battle, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you saw the nuclear warhead. You may have seen a nuclear warhead because the underground
Right.
people.
No, but I
in
mean,
that-
do nuclear warheads throw monkeys back in time? Is what I'm asking.
Apes.
Apes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's actually a big thing in
I'm
that
sorry.
picture.
No,
Yeah,
no, because that's the movie I watched.
So much
They
for-
made a big deal about
so much
No.
Woke.
In this movie, Cornelius, who is a pacifist, I might add, straight up murders a man for calling him a monkey
All right, okay.
in this film.
I
So-
wanted to murder a 9-year-old while yelling monkey when we went to see Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. He kept yelling monkey the whole movie, and
No,
I've never
stop
wanted
it.
to kill a child more
Turns
in my
out
life.
there's a lot of monkeys in that movie, so yelling monkey every time there's a monkey.
And then starting to cry when the monkeys start killing people.
The fuck film you going to see? Actually, I do love the fact that also Escape from the Planet of the Apes is a G-rated film that isn't overly action-packed, but when the violence happens, it hurts, like in that picture.
It gets dark.
It gets
Yeah.
because it's a really
It's
interesting.
okay because they're not people. That's
No,
why
I
it's
think the
G.
idea behind it is that it's not okay even if they're not people. I think that's the vibe that I got from
Yeah,
I mean,
well, that's
like,
the message of the movie, but the people who rated it didn't care.
Yeah, by
Yeah.
the way, folks, this is a G-rated film, and I'm about to start talking about some very violent and awful things that happen in this picture.
They
So
slap each other and say heck.
it's
Little worse than that.
slightly worse, but okay, I got to build up to that. So no, going to what you were saying about the dark turn in this picture. This movie starts off almost like a fish out of water comedy and everything and stuff where like they're all just like, oh, we're having a good time until the third ape gets strangled by a gorilla. So there's your first
Gorillas!
So there's your first thing of violence in that picture. Then they start finding out the time period. Then the humans start finding out the time period that these apes start coming from. Notice also that I'm calling them people because they're living beings in this picture. In which then they have to start going on the run because the government, in typical government fashion, gets downright terrified that they're all of a sudden going to kill and murder us all and everything. And then they have a child, in which then they meet up with Khan from Wrath of Khan.
Benedict Cumberbatch?
No, Ricardo, you son of a bitch.
John!
So then, in which also at this point in time, in order to defend his wife, Cornelius straight up murders this motherfucker. And so the climax of the movie takes place on a boat, where the president's head
They're on a
science
boat?
advisor decides to straight up murder a baby. And not off screen either. You see this baby get shot to death in this G-rated picture.
The first time I saw this movie, it was a very audible "what?" Like they just throw it on the ground and then he just empties a clip into the baby.
Just
boom, 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 boom. It's like
just straight up.
holy
But
shit.
it's not a human.
Just straight up Pulp Fiction.
It's the same thing
child.
as how the
Still
boobs
is-
in Titanic were not sexualized.
PG-13.
So it's PG-13.
This is a G film. You can watch Balto and then Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Like, let me just I don't care that it's human. I don't care that it's not human. It was fucked up when
No,
you see
I'm
this
agreeing.
scene.
I'm just explaining why
Like-
it's G.
Like, all of a sudden, you're just like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
I just watched Herbie before this. What?
Like, I just watch Herbie Rides again.
Can you imagine all the people back in, was it 60s or 70s?
The
70s.
Who took
70s.
their kids to
And
this
what I love
movie?
and stuff is that I also saw the trailer for this movie, and it's like, Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Rated G.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it looks like a very happy-go-lucky. Oh, they're gonna go shopping.
Yes, the montage. Are we going to talk about that montage?
Oh,
Well, the montage is great. I really like the fish out of water stuff because A, it makes you really sympathize with Cornelius and Zira in the picture, but B, also it kind of has a little bit of interesting social commentary for the time period and everything else about like what people value. I almost thought a little bit about like kind of what Dawn of the Dead was saying about mall culture and everything a little bit about this. Not to the same extent, but similar and everything. Okay,
So do you have a guess who gave it to you?
I'm going to say you because we were talking a little bit about it before.
Yeah.
Brian's the only one that reminds me on a somewhat regular basis that these movies exist.
Well,
Not only do they exist, that they are some of the most important and greatest movies in cinema
A lot
history.
of people just don't even think about them anymore.
They're fantastic.
There's one thing, because I'm an apes fanatic also and everything. So I was very happy when he saw us because
Going apes for
I haven't
apes.
seen it in about a couple of years. There was something that I noticed in this picture that I did not notice before, which is that they laid the groundwork for the history and potential relationship between humans. Basically, this picture is lays the groundwork in one very quick scene that the conclusion of Beneath the Planet of the Apes does not have to happen anymore.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it is?
I don't remember. No.
When
I was trying to think of
when
it.
they interrogate Cornelius, they say that the ape who originally led the rebellion, and this is why I'm happy you saw Battle of the Planet of the
I'm
Apes.
not.
It's a great movie.
Was named Aldo. Aldo was supposed to be the original
Oh, and it's Caesar. at that point.
rebeller,
Yeah.
and it's Caesar now.
Yeah.
And
But
if you-
who was Aldo? Was there ever an Aldo?
Aldo was in Battle for the
He was
Planet
a-
of the
he
Apes.
was an
and
asshole.
He was the bad guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's
He
interesting.
hated humans and wanted them all to die.
And I had to rewind it because I was because when I first saw it, I was like, wait, I thought they said Caesar was the guy's name and everything else. And then I'm like, they're like, no, it's Aldo. And I'm like, Aldo? I'm like, that's the general in in Battle for the
But
Planet
wasn't
of the
he a
Apes.
gorilla?
He was a gorilla, yes. And they actually say it's a gorilla in the picture also. So
Huh.
by them going back in time, they actually could have potentially averted the situation because they had Caesar, who is a much more sympathetic person to human beings.
But
Yeah,
that
he was
doesn't-
their kid, and now he's back in time.
And
I
now
understand that, but that
Caesar
doesn't-
wasn't their kid, was he?
Yes, he's their kid.
I thought Caesar
How
was
long
because I thought there was a generation of them becoming smarter apes between.
No, I did. I checked because I wanted to check it out so that way I could because I
I haven't watched. I haven't watched
Guys,
Conquest
I'm
in
an
a long
expert
time.
on Battle for the Planet of the Apes, and I can tell you, having watched this movie, that Caesar, that's the whole plot of the movie, is Caesar's like, I want to hear
That's
what my
right, 'cause
parents
he
had
wants
to
to go see his
say.
parents, and that's why
And
they-
they were the ones who came
Oh,
back
okay.
in
See,
time.
so for some reason I thought there was a bigger
Okay,
gap between the
so
two.
time-wise, are these apes just immortal because they're supposed to be like 2,000 years or
Well,
something
no, the idea
between
behind
things?
it is the stuff is that at the beginning of Conquest, in like the 15-year, God, I can't believe I have to like how much like
This
the,
is like listening to dudes at a comic book shop.
Conquest is an awesome movie.
Green Lantern or something.
well, guys,
Green Lantern is amazing.
well, guys, if you pay
The first one and the second one
you
take
see,
place
well,
in
you see,
3,000.
well, you see, Chewie, you have to understand that in Conquest of the
Actually-
Planet of the Apes, in Conquest to talk about this, there was a plague that wiped out
Yeah.
dogs and stuff, but also apparently it made
Wait, dogs? They wiped out dogs?
No,
it wiped out
that was in
dogs
this
and
movie.
cats.
I'm
That was
not
in
okay with
Conquest.
that, guys.
No,
I'm
they
not
talk
okay
about it
with
in
wiping
this
out
one.
dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, they talk a little bit about it at the end of this one, where it's like,
Yeah,
When
yeah.
she's-
Cornelius brings it up.
yeah.
Well,
Oh,
no, she
Zero
talks
does.
about
Zero
it.
does.
John's face because he didn't watch any of this. And he's
I don't. So
He's just
how,
kind of like, this
how
is a
do
lot
these
deeper
apes
than I
live so
thought.
long?
Record scratch. You
How
may
do
be
they live
wondering
so
how I
long?
got here.
70s. You know how we talked about the 90s had a bunch of physics things and stuff? Well, the 70s.
In the 70s, time doesn't matter.
Well, see,
Didn't
I
you
bounced
didn't
after.
you see the clip with the painter inside of the painter inside of the painter inside
Yeah.
of the
No,
painter?
no, that
It's-
doesn't make any sense.
So here's the thing. I bounced after that one. After
Time
your movie,
still
after your
exists.
movie.
You know what doesn't make sense? Talking, walking apes. But here we are.
I think it makes
apes
perfect sense.
Talk. They just don't speak English. Thank you.
Amy.
Amy, what? Raindrop.
Bad
rain.
monkey.
Oh,
Bad
you
monkey.
Loves kitten. Loves kitten. All
What are we
right?
gonna do with these apes? Put them on the endangered
kitty?
species list.
Coco loves kitty.
Coco loves kitty. Even though Coco's a gorilla.
Folks, in case you're wondering, we're also talking about the other great ape film, Congo.
But no, so the reason I gave this one, because I was when I was trying to think of when I got you assigned, I was like, I don't know, what do I give Chris? I wanted to either give you something you'd hate or something you've seen, because I
You
figured
should have given him Sloan because it would have been lovely if he could have found another copy.
I would have had to give him Sloan and then like given the VHS to Ryan. I'm like, all right, you need to give this VHS player and this tape to Chris.
He could have maybe found it somewhere on the internet.
It does not exist on the internet.
we
No-
we have the only copy in life.
well, that I know of, yes,
And on VHS.
and on VHS.
Wow.
That's interesting because I had that same conflict with you, Emily, because I was actually debating giving you another film, which is Strange Days.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
I've
Oh,
seen
I've
Strange
seen
Days,
that
yeah.
movie.
Well, but I've seen that, but like, yeah, thanks for giving me a movie that is unavailable except through $4 for a DVD on Amazon.
As an add-on,
As
I'm in.
an add-on.
Meh, details.
I had to buy more beard oil just to get that thing
Hey.
shipped to my house.
We
And
made
it's a
sure that they got
DVD.
more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so old that it's a DVD that has like the full screen on one side and
It's
the
not
widescreen on the
available
other
on
side.
Blu-ray.
It's not available on anything.
It is, but it's like $15, and this was $4.
15.
I'm sorry I got you guys to buy a good movie.
Either way,
just
did
can't
you
believe
enjoy
it's-
your rewatch of Escape at the Planet of the Apes?
Yes, I did, specifically
Yeah.
because of that whole thing. I was just found it now. It's much more interesting. The next two films to me because it's like holy shit, like this is how the timeline diverges and everything. Can I please do my favorite line from the picture? I think you may already know what it is.
I want to hear what it is in case I'm wrong.
Oh god, like, well, sir, don't worry. We'll catch them sooner or later. Later we'll do something about pollution. Later we'll do something about the climate change. Later we'll do something about the population explosion. We think we got all the time in the world. Well, just how much time does the world have?
Jesus, you memorized that whole thing.
It's a good moment.
It's actually a really good. It's a really good moment because it actually explains why the villain is acting the way he. It explains why the villain is acting the way he is.
All right.
But I digress. Chewie, what world-class piece of cinema did you happen to see?
What a great segue.
Chewie,
Let's float on over to
I don't
Chewie.
want to answer
And
that.
by now she knows who gave it to her.
what
Yes,
what,
I
what,
do.
what type of what,
and I
what,
don't know why.
Because I love it. And I wanted to hear someone else talk about why it's great. Besides
You
me.
should not.
Chewie,
No
what-
one ever
Should've
does.
just assigned this movie to
Swing
me.
and a miss there.
All right.
why do you
So-
feel so indifferent towards what
the
is this
movie
film?
I got, everybody, is a great example
It is.
of 90s cinema in the early, but
You're close enough.
90s cinema while looking like the early 2000s, but coming out in the 2012 when we thought the world was going to end. So I guess they just wanted to push it out there.
What's the name?
Battleship,
I love Battleship.
Sorry. Could you tell that to the people in the back?
Battleship,
Not American Warship, right? Which I worked on.
battle,
Battle.
and
Ship?
Battleship. Okay, so
But wait a
this
second,
is.
Chewie, that's a board game. How could that be?
It is a board game, of which we do have a copy.
I didn't know
On
that.
VHS?
Yes, you did, because I took it from Drunk History.
Now I remember.
Even the way that I was given to it, I did not steal anything.
So Battleship.
Battleship. This is a movie that my first rendition of trying to watch it was alone in Tennessee in my hotel room where I was very tired, and I went, nah. But then on the rewatch here in our living room, I was just like, all right, so this is a great Riff Tracks movie.
That's why I love it.
It's a great movie to watch about dudes being dudes. Dudes gonna save the world. Lots of dudes. And it stars some really good looking dudes. We got some Taylor Kitsch. We got some Alexander Skarsgård.
Scar.
Eric Northman.
Genetic lottery winner, I think, is the better name for him.
Yes.
I think that's probably what it says on his driver's
Yeah.
license.
And I particularly enjoy that they didn't put Taylor Kitsch in any Apple boxes, and we really featured how much shorter he is compared to Alex.
I just think you could put him on 2 Apple boxes. He's still going to appear taller. That's
He's
just
taller
the
than
way
everybody.
he is.
He is. I know.
You climbed him
Okay.
like a tree.
I had to be professional on set.
For those of
I
you who
did
didn't
not-
hear it, Emily just went,
when got to meet him in person. He was very nice and actually quite reserved.
Interesting.
I'm a professional.
So Battleship.
So's he.
So Battleship.
That sex scenes between him and Sookie when they just go to town in the house and they're both naked after making out in the woods.
They
like
know
him-
which butt to feature.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I rewound it
Battleship.
a lot of times. Too.
Hey everybody, Brian here. We had a slight problem with recording where the mic stand basically attacked poor Chris. He was a good sport. He didn't get too hurt. You know, maybe lost an eye or something, but I think he'll be okay. Anyhow, there was no good way to edit around that, so instead you get me saying this. All right, back to the show.
All right, and we're back.
All right, so Battleship. This is a very good movie about all these attractive people being in the Navy. And they're all very good at doing Navy things. They're very good at being on a boat.
So it's already unrealistic.
Rihanna is there. She's wet a lot, and she yells some things. She never has to deliver any full lines, so that might be a good thing.
So excited for Valerian.
She's just whatever. Positive things about this movie. The aliens are cool. I like that they went a little bit different with them. They definitely look very humanoid, but they're also kind of lizard-like because they look like geckos. And then one guy starts talking about his love of his pet gecko, which is kind of cute for a little bit. And it's nice to see these people come together to defeat these aliens. And Tadanobu Asano, I'm sure I just said his name wrong, who I am a huge fan of in Asian cinema. He starred in many Takashi Miike films. He's a great actor, and it's great to see him in American movies. I, for some reason, never remember that he's also in the Thor films, so he's just a delight to watch. And the comedic timings between him and Taylor Kitsch, honestly, is the best parts of these films. Watching them get to be friends.
The Art
and
of War
fight each
thing at
other.
the end of the movie, that legitimately makes me laugh.
You're like, that's not what it means.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, not at all. It's fantastic. I mean, if we have to choose who's a better actor, Asano's a better actor than Taylor Kitsch. I'm sorry.
I like Taylor Kitsch.
Taylor Kitsch is good. He looks better with long hair. That was one of the biggest mistakes of this film by giving him a military haircut.
I have a theory about that, by the way.
I mean, he joined the Navy. They had to do it.
No, I think at the beginning of the movie, he was shooting John Carter at the same time.
There's probably merit to that.
Yep.
Okay.
I should have picked John Carter.
I
This
will
is
argue
a great,
for
and
that film.
this is a great. We do have the one female character that does do a very good job at her job, which is Rihanna. She's very good at shooting guns. Then we have another female character who. She seems like she's probably good at her job of being a physical therapist, and they really do a good job of making it look like the Navy puts a lot of money into the rehabilitation of their members, because we all know the government definitely gives lots of money to rehabilitating their members.
Especially now.
Yeah.
All right, so you know who gave this to you.
Emily.
Yeah.
That's process of elimination there. Emily, beyond just you want to hear somebody else talk about it, why would you give CHEWIE this movie?
I just thought, I don't know. I was just thinking, what's a movie that I love to watch every time it comes on? I'm going to give that to CHEWIE because it's fun. I didn't know. Then when you came back with, oh my God, it's the worst movie ever, I'm going to claw my eyes out. I was like, uh-oh. That's not.
Now, what would have happened?
not my
Now, what would have
intent.
happened if we arrived here?
If young CHEWIE at the age of 15 had seen this movie, she probably would have enjoyed it more, because I do really enjoy Armageddon.
Yeah.
This movie does a good job at trying to be a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah,
It's
that's what's so weird about it.
It just doesn't have the comedic timing of Michael Bay. Michael Bay's much better at making a funny, crazy action movie. The comedic timing in this film does not land with me. The entire opening sequence with the burrito, I'm just...
I love that sequence because it's so bad. Because it's like, anytime I see someone doing something absolutely fucking stupid in a movie, I call it a chicken burrito moment.
Yeah?
Because it's
Okay.
so dumb
That
and
makes
terrible.
sense, yeah.
And that's why, like, that was my, not because it's a classic quality film, but more because this is a movie that if it is on my television, I will stop and watch it.
I mean, I enjoyed making fun of it the whole time I watched it.
Yeah.
Brian did not appreciate that.
Well, I had just watched it like 2 hours before you watched it. I'm like, I do not want to sit through this thing again with riff tracks. Like, it's just too much Battleship in one day.
And I'm sorry, it just had one of my least favorite lines I've seen in a movie in a really long time, because like I told Brian, I had only gotten about 15 minutes of this film when I watched it in Tennessee and turned it off. But then near the end, when they're all supposed to be heroes and shit, and then what's-her-face is stuck in the car, and the nerd guy comes in and yells, calm down, I'm going to save you. I was just like, fuck you. Fuck all of you men.
I don't think you're supposed to like that guy.
Fuck you so hard.
Also, there's like a dude in a wheelchair who murders he murders an alien with he's on one leg or so. What does that scene?
He's
That
the
is when the legless man boxes
Yeah,
the
yeah,
alien.
yeah.
That's an
so
amazing sequence.
Stop drilling,
don't-
you struck oil.
I don't understand how somebody with a prosthetic leg can choke somebody out with their leg. He's not.
Oh, it's
I
easy. It's
explained this
easy.
last night.
I don't understand how World War II veterans are able to maneuver with modern day technology, but here we are.
Yeah, it's all good. And that leg thing, Speed Force.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, that's
I
good.
do
Right?
appreciate that they brought in real world members of the Navy to be in this movie, because I'm sure everyone that lost their that were limbless in this movie during the entire montage, probably real Navy members.
Well,
On the ships, they do have a lot of Navy members there, and you can totally tell who's a
including-
member of the Navy and who's an actor.
All the old guys, all actual veterans.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's an I didn't know
The
that.
thing,
And that's
the thing
pretty
is,
cool.
The thing that I will always love about Peter Berg, even if I don't love his movies, is that when he makes something about the military, it is always showing it in the absolute best positive light. Like, he has more like love and respect for our military than almost any filmmaker
Wasn't he in the
out there.
military?
I
I honestly don't know if he was.
I like Peter Berg films.
So do I.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
Berg's
I like
great.
like I thought Deepwater Horizon was actually a really.
I
good
haven't seen
movie.
that one
It's
yet, but-
surprisingly good.
But like Lone Survivor, I mean, it's
Yes.
a little cartoonishly violent. But if you hear the guys talk about who were there, it's pretty spot on to what actually happened to them.
And it's proof that Taylor Kish can act.
Yeah, like I think Peter Berg does a good job, but I really like it when he does stuff about the military because he shows it in this like he has more respect in his films. Like none of it is played for laughs. It's all just like this is what it is, and this is why it's great, and why you should be a part of it.
And
I
that's
really like that.
probably why he's better at making those movies than he is a comedic action film.
Yeah,
Which comedic action movie did he do?
Battleship.
Touche. I'll say
you
this:
go.
the one thing that I did like in the picture is I like the aliens because I actually felt like they had a little
The
bit more
character design for
depth.
the aliens was pretty great.
I like the
also-
sun thing. I thought that was
Yeah,
kinda
that's
cool.
what the gecko thing. It
I,
was good.
well, I liked them. I also like the aliens because I like the fact that the aliens weren't totally evil in the picture.
It
That
looks like they destroyed their planet and needed to recolonize.
Yeah, like they
and
were
just
just
didn't
kind
know
of-
how to say, "Can we please come in?" before blowing us
Yeah,
up.
but they were just kind of like, okay, they're injured people here. No, we're not going to shoot them.
Wait, we only have a minute left. We haven't talked about when they played Battleship yet.
Yeah, that was what I was about to say. I love that part.
That's
When Asano is just like, "No, guys, listen to me," and everyone's like, "I don't know what this Asian guy's talking about. I guess we'll do it." He's like, "Trust me, guys, it's going to work." And then they all suddenly get on board.
it was the best thing. I was sitting in here working on something for the podcast, and then I hear Chewie from the other room going, "They're playing Battleship, honey! They're playing Battleship."
I was doing that sarcastically.
It was still awesome.
It was that is awesome.
Okay.
My favorite
One of
part
my
of the movie,
biggest
except for the chicken burrito thing.
One of my biggest gripes with the aliens, though, in this movie, how can they create an entire biodome over freaking Hawaii to keep all the other fleet out, but then they don't have shields on their spacecrafts? What? How can you... Do you use all your shield power for this one area, but not to protect yourselves from being hit by bombs?
It's for Alexander Skarsgård.
There or Speed Force.
Yep.
But no,
Or spaceship launch, or spaceship
why
launch,
don't you have enough power to...
Checkmate.
or spaceship launched into orbit by a nuclear weapon, or
Alexander Skarsgård.
90s physics,
90s
or
physics, man.
Speed Force.
Honestly, they
Orlando.
should have saved all their force power,
And I
all of
tied
their
them all
force
together.
field
Or whatever
powers.
Orlando was.
They should have used all their force field powers on their ships instead of just making a biodome.
And when they come back, they will. Like, okay, that was the wrong decision,
Yeah.
clearly.
Chewie,
We've learned our lesson.
Chewie, I said before, like, there's plenty of logic in this, like Cocoon.
Yeah.
I like the movie Cocoon.
No, Cocoon and Kung Fu
Yeah,
Hustle.
Cocoon totally makes sense. It
Yeah,
works fine.
nuclear weapon launching the thing into space, Orlando, and Gina Davis ice skating at the speed of a BMW.
These movies are flawless.
So the thing that ties all of our movies together is physics.
Yes.
Science.
Okay, so that's everyone, right? Right? I've been paying
Yeah.
attention.
I
Okay.
believe so.
We're good.
So instead of declaring a winner today, because I think we're all winners.
We're all okay. Winners. That's what I'll go
Oh,
with.
fuck that
as-
shit.
Um,
Nah,
I did
as
not
they-
like getting participation
You know what?
trophies in elementary
As-
school. I don't like it now.
Can I
five
finish
right
this
there.
sentence? Jesus.
Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish?
Marriage.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
That's what
finished.
she said.
I was doing my Trump hands.
Wait, Trump does that?
Yeah, he does that all the time.
He pulls strings?
This is
plays
really
the-
working in this visual medium.
He plays
They
accordion.
can't see it.
Let him finish. I want to hear what he has to say also.
Anyhow, so
Trump
what I
has
said,
never said let her
instead
finish.
of saying a winner, I want people to say what's the movie that they will walk out of here and watch.
Well, we already watched them.
No. If you have to watch one of these again,
Oh.
you get to pick one of these. Consider it like a desert island movie. If you have to pick one of these 5 based on these arguments.
I
which one
really
you
want to
take?
see Last Kiss Goodnight again.
Last Kiss Goodnight?
Yeah.
Long Kiss.
Long Kiss Good, whatever.
I mean, like, I want to see Orlando, but if I'm on a desert island, I'm, keeping Long Kiss Goodnight.
Fair enough.
I still haven't seen that Planet of the Apes movie, and I'm not going to. So I would actually probably like to watch Orlando again. I haven't seen it in a while.
But it has apes in a spaceship being
No.
launched by a nuclear
Don't worry.
weapon.
I got you covered. Escape from the Planet of the Apes is going with me.
Score.
It's so good.
I'll give. I want to watch Chicken Burrito.
Yeah, man.
The movie.
Wow, so you take Battleship.
Fucking yes.
I am going to be counter to
Taylor Kitsch does look up a lot.
Taylor Kitsch somewhere just cried a single tear of joy.
It's just fun.
somebody
And
liked
then that
it.
tear landed on Rihanna, and then she's wet all over.
It's
Why
fun.
is she there?
Guys, it's
I don't
fun
know.
like a Michael Bay movie, but without the exhaustion you feel after you've watched a Michael Bay movie.
I've seen it 4 times. You know what's convinced me? I enjoyed. CHEWIE was not a fan.
All right.
Old.
I'm sorry, Chewie. I thought I was giving you a movie that I.
I do like a lot of dumb action
Don't
movies,
apologize.
but
It's great.
I just,
Fuck you, Chewie, for not liking my movie.
just don't like Battleship.
It's okay. It's not. You should like it. But
I like a lot of dumb things.
old friend of the show, Tony, was the one who convinced me to watch it. And he's like, no, just watch
Tony
it.
has terrible taste in movies.
He loves High School Musical. How could he be wrong about anything?
He also makes sure
Don't
to see
stare
every
at the
Adam
sun.
Sandler film. He's the reason that Adam Sandler has a deal with Netflix. People like him.
So what you're saying is,
Hi,
fuck Tony.
Yes, fuck Tony. Keep that going. Tony,
Yep.
you're not here, but it stays.
Fuck Tony. Tony sucks.
We haven't
Who's
said
Tony?
fuck Tony in a long time.
I hope Addison's
I don't know who
feeling
Tony
well
is, but fuck Tony.
Yeah, there we go. Gotta tell him to listen to this
It's
one.
a spin-off from that hit TV show that we were talking about. Fuck Chris.
Fuck Chris.
Fuck Chris. In season 2, we're gonna fuck Tony.
Season 1 premiere of Fuck Tony. Hey, what happened to
First
Chris?
we fuck-
Well, we fucked him to death.
Fucked him to death.
First we fucked Chris, and we
And
won.
he got fucked all right.
And then we fucked Tony, and we lost.
And you just see Tony, he's like, you're never going to fuck. Like,
You're never gonna fuck.
This
It's
time
like, no,
there
it's-
won't be
it-
a next time.
it's the escape from fucking, like, it's the
There we
escape
go.
from
Yeah,
Planet of the Apes version.
tying
of
it back in.
Fuck
we're
Tony,
just
no-
bringing it in.
Re-
We're bringing it in.
Fuck Tony too, the unfucked.
Fuck Tony and the
Look.
chicken burrito he wrote in on.
Oh boy.
Tony
Okay,
fucked
so
that burrito.
All of it gold.
all right, it's time for plugs. John, do you have anything to plug right now that isn't this show?
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning. Check out air conditioning, everyone.
It's nice.
Solid plug.
I would
got
like to plug us on the Instagrams. I am
Yep.
trying to keep that up, so please follow us at ATH Podcast. And then our website is still athpod.com.
And it's going to remain that way because I'm not paying that fucker $5,000 for that domain name.
That fucker.
He can fuck himself.
We
Along
assume
with
it.
Tony and Chris.
Yes.
It's a trilogy.
It's just a room of people we want to fuck.
No. It's got.
That got
Hold
a
on,
different
real quick.
meaning.
I just-
So Battleship.
Superstore, Drunk History, and Better Off Ted. There we go.
There we go.
There you go.
Chris?
I'm going to plug my friends Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly's new comic book, which is on sale right now at all other places. Now, guys, I do apologize if I butcher the name of this. Zojakan. It's spelled Zojaqan. They just had it come out. Yeah, here you go, Chewie. Maybe you could have a better attempt at doing that.
Say it fast and confidently.
Zochakan.
There you go.
No,
So
I
Yakin,
can't
it might
say
be
that
a silent
confidently.
one. I apologize to anybody who actually knows how to pronounce it. If
It
I'm
looks
butchering
pretty
it and
spelled
stuff.
out.
It's from the Jackson and Colin both wrote Hacktivist and Joyride. If you guys are fans of those comic books.
Oh, Joyride
And,
was sick.
I believe Gail Simone also gave this a glowing review, calling it a brilliant interpretation of motherhood in comics. I don't know if that's the exact quote. I just know that that's like how she felt about it and everything else like that.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you guys can, feel free to buy it because also support new independent comic books that also have female main characters.
Cool.
Marvel's not going to do that.
I'm just gonna be like, yay, Comic-Con, because that's what's next week. That's where I'm gonna be. I'm plugging Comic-Con like it needs the help.
It does.
If you want to say hi to me at Comic-Con, I'm at the Emily Blake. Find me on Twitter, and I don't know.
And you're going to look very elegant.
I am. I've got a Wonder
Just,
Woman in a blue dress cosplay, which I'm really stoked
Just
about.
use the hashtag chicken burrito. And
Chicken-
Emily
I will find it.
Yeah.
I
Are
will
you
find
going to explain what happened to that poor woman you stole that dress from?
What?
from Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Oh.
The dress.
Okay.
What happened
I
to
didn't
that
know where you
woman?
were going with that. I thought you were talking about like, no, I made it, Chewie. God damn.
No. Because that's one thing I was really wondering in that movie. I'm like, it's
yeah.
cool that she got a
She's
dress.
running around
What
naked
happened
in
to
the
that
woods.
woman?
She was a Nazi.
Was she?
Yeah.
I mean, she was going to a Nazi party.
Okay.
Oh, just to reiterate, sorry, the actual
Is she
quote.
dead then? Did Wonder Woman
She's
kill
wandering
her?
around. No. Wonder Woman wouldn't do that.
I don't know.
She just wandered around
We
naked
never
in the
saw her
woods.
again.
That's a good point.
It was cold out.
I'm
The
sure
act-
she's fine.
The actual quote from Gail Simone, I apologize, is "This is why I read comic books. This book right here." I just
Oh,
didn't
wow.
want to.
That's awesome.
I did. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was.
It's a
got
glowing
that
review.
right and everything. Yeah.
My plug will be very simple. Listen to the show that you're currently listening to, which would be awesome. And then I'd say be sure to check out our Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
I
Ooh,
really
yeah,
enjoy
those are
those.
fun.
Yeah, those are a lot of fun. We have, let's see, this comes out Thursday, so tomorrow will be Monkeying Around is the theme. I don't know how.
Aping around, Brian.
No, I said monkeying around.
Get your fucking shit together.
I guess we can call it aping around if we want to be PC.
PC culture's ruining everything.
I don't know what the hell that's going to be. I have said weird is the name of the game, so it should be a fun playlist.
I swear to God, if Andy Serkis kicks your door down and goes, "Hey, fuck you, it's apes."
It's apes.
I've been in that goddamn grease
Dude,
creature for
if
5
Andy
years.
Serkis comes over, I'm going to say we're watching 13 going on 30. You're staying.
And you're gonna do the
in that?
moonwalk.
Yes, we're going to dance together.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I'll make sure I'm not here for any of that.
No, you will.
You
be.
want to watch 13 going on 30
will
with
be.
Andy
You'd
Serkis.
want to not meet Andy Serkis?
No, I'll meet him and then I'll leave when they turn on the
Okay,
movie.
alright, that
that
makes
movie
sense,
sucks.
No, it doesn't.
It does. Anyhow,
it actually made
the
me
other
like-
part
Even
of
like
my
Battleship. You can't trust her judgment.
exactly.
Oh, guys, I also just want to plug in my Comic-Con panel for season 1 of Fuck Chris. We'll be talking.
Damn it. I was drinking.
We'll be featuring bloopers for Q&A with the cast and crew, as well as bringing Chris out, bound and gagged to the stage to
God.
ask him his questions about how he feels.
How do you feel?
Let me out of here.
Okay, so that I'm gonna say thank you for everyone for listening. Thank you for everything, and bye.
Bye.
Peace out, folks.